Hello, everyone. How are you? I hope you're doing well. My name is Sol, and welcome to this virtual lesson. Today, we're going to continue exploring Shakespeare's sonnets. I know that you have been reading some of his most famous ones, and today we're going to continue doing that. We're going to read another sonnet, but the one we're going to read is not that well known. It is not that famous. But I decided to analyze this one because there's something about it that is really captivating. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. So, the sonnet will be the center of this presentation. So let's start with it, shall we? Allow me to share my screen. Wait a second. Okay, the title I've chosen for this lesson is What Do We Remember About Shakespeare's Sonnet? Okay, you will know why in a second. Okay, as I said before in this presentation, we'll explore Shakespeare's sonnet number 91. And by doing so, we'll be also analyzing its main structure, the rhyming pattern, its overall meaning, and also its main themes. Okay, here we have it, sonnet number 91, written by William Shakespeare. And as you know, Shakespearean sonnets have been written a long, long time ago. So there might be some expressions or words that are not commonly used today, or that may have had different meanings back then. So that's why I've included here a glossary for you to resort to in case you come across some unfamiliar words, okay? So I would like you to pause this video and try to read this sonnet and using the iambic pentameter, okay? Some glory in the birth, some in the skill, okay? Pause the video and we'll continue in a second. Okay, have you read it? How was it? Okay, great. Let's continue with this lesson. As a way of introducing this sonnet to you, I wanted to share a video that I really liked. Wait a second, I will share my screen again. I hope you can see it. There we have it. I wanted to share this beautiful video that was made by Sir Patrick Stewart. He's going to read this beautiful sonnet aloud, and the way he reads it, the way he puts his own style and emotion to it, is very captivating. Take a look.
Hello. Well, we are at Sonnet 91, and I wasn't familiar with this sonnet until I began looking at it a little while ago, and it just struck me as an example of how sometimes what Shakespeare writes can sound extraordinarily contemporary, as if he wrote it yesterday. And this sonnet has that feeling. So I'll try and capture that while keeping the structure of the sonnet still in place. Here we go, Sonnet 91. Can you believe it? Some glory in their birth, some in their skill, some in their wealth, some in their body's force, some in their garments, though newfangled ill, some in their hawks and hounds, some in their horse. And every humour hath his adjunct pleasure, wherein it finds a joy above the rest. But these particulars are not my measure. All these I better in one general best. Thy love is better than high birth to me. I'm going to say that line again. Thy love is better than high birth to me. Richer than wealth, prouder than garments cost, a more delight than hawks or horses be. and having thee of all men's pride I boast. Wretched in this alone, that thou mayest take all that away, and me most wretched make. William Shakespeare, Sonnets, 2020.
Okay, how lovely was that? I love the way he read this beautiful sonnet and the passion he put into it. Okay, shall we continue analyzing this beautiful sonnet? Okay, now let's take a look at the structure. The first question says, what is a rhyme scheme? Let's remember that a rhyme scheme is a system that we use to describe the patterns of rhyme in a poem. So we assign a letter to each rhyming sound, okay? So it would be something like this. The rhyme scheme of this sonnet is A, B, A, B, C, D, C, D, E, F, E, F, G, G. Okay, why? Because here we have these rhyming sounds: skill, ill, force, force, pleasure, measure, rest, best, and so on and so forth, which they match. The rhythm matches. So that's why we assign those letters. And then, of course, in the couplet, we have take and make. They are together. Good. So let's continue. Question number 2. Where do the quatrains begin and end? Okay, let's see. First, let's analyze the word quatrain. It comes from the word four. So, of course, the first quatrain goes from line 1 to 4. Second quatrain goes from 5 to 8. Third quatrain being from 9 to 12. And the couplet from 13 to 14. Only these two. Okay, great. Now that we've finished analyzing the structure of this sonnet, let's go deeper into the meaning. Okay, the first question says, what's the theme of this sonnet? Is it about old age? Is it about an exotic lady? Or is it about a young man or lover? In my opinion, I think that this sonnet might be about this young man or lover. Why? Because in this sonnet, we can find some aspects about love and admiration and unconditional love that we cannot find in the other themes. Okay, so that's why I believe it is about this young lover. Okay, so question number 5 says, what is the main idea of each quatrain? Let's take a look. So we have the first quatrain saying, some glory in the birth, some in the skill, some in their wealth, in the body's force, in their garments. Here we are seeing a list of superficial or external sources of pride, you know. Here the speaker is listing the things most people admire from other people or from other things. Okay, now let's see what about the second quatrain. In the second quatrain, here we can find a switch, a turn in the meaning. Okay, and at the beginning, as I said before, the speaker is listing the superficial sources of pride, but now he says, but these particulars are not my measure. All these I better in one's journal best. Here, what the speaker is saying is that your love is my most treasured possession, right? Then we have the third quatrain. The third quatrain, he continues describing or explaining the way he admires this person, saying, for example, thy love is better than high birth to me. Your love is better than royal heritage. And remember that in this context, historical context that this sonnet was written, this is very important, this is very big. So the third quatrain is about that your love is worth more than anything else. Great. And what about the couplet? Here we have another switch in this, let's say, as the story of this sonnet. It says, "Wretched this alone, that thou mayst take all this away, and me most wretched make." Here we have the fear of losing your love, the vulnerability of love. Here the speaker is showing how dependent he is of this young man's love. Okay, great. Okay, now let's see question number 7, which says, "Where do you think the turn of volta happens?" Okay, as we know, a turn of volta refers to a sudden change in the subject matter of the poem or the sonnet, which is used to show a contrast in the ideas that are being expressed. And it is usually used with the word but. So here we have, but these particulars are not my measure. Here we change, the speaker changes from explaining the superficial external sources of pride to saying his own sources of pride, which is his lover. Okay, but in this case, in this sonnet, the turn of volta is in the couplet. Okay, the couplet can also have the turn of volta. Yes, why? Because in this case we can see the most important switch of ideas and feelings and emotions, because here, as I said before, the speaker is showing his vulnerability and the fear of losing someone's love. So the most dramatic and drastic change happens here in the couplet. Good. So now let's continue with question number 8. What literary devices can you find in this sonnet? Let's see. So the first literary device that we can find is anaphora, or repetition. Okay, so we can find it at the beginning of a line in a poem. You can see that here we have a lot of sums, some glory in the birth, some in the skill, some. So the objective of this repetition is to show emphasis on the message it is trying to be conveyed. So here he is trying to make a contrast with what's being said in the first quatrain to what is said in the second quatrain. Okay. Okay, now another literary device that we can find is alliteration, which is the successive repetition of the beginning sound in a line. So in this case, we have the repetition of the ha sound. So it will be something like some in the hooks and hounds, some in the horse. And all of these literary devices are used to show emphasis. Okay, great. Another aspect that we can analyze is the lyrical I. Here, when we find the letter I in a sonnet, we can understand that the author is the main protagonist of the poem. So we can imagine that maybe this sonnet was written based on William Shakespeare's own feelings, okay? So that is lyrical I. Okay, we reached the end of this presentation. I would like to read these 2 quotes that I found to be really connected to the topic we were dealing with today. The first one being by Aristotle, "The more you know, the more you see." And the second one by literary critic Northrop Frye, "The structure of a work is inseparable from its meaning." Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and see you next time. Bye.